Come in, come in, come into my world. I've got to show you. Come into my bed. I've got to know you. I have dreams of orca whales and bones, but I wake up in fear. You will never be my fool, never be my fool.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Geezerology. That was Regina Spektor singing a song from her fourth album, Begin to Hope, which was released in June of 2006. That was her breakout album. That was her second major label album, but her fourth overall, and the one that that broke her commercially and got her out of the New York anti-folk scene. She began recording independently in around the turn of the century, and she was at the forefront of what they called this anti-folk movement that was going on in New York at the time. And what this was all about was these people playing in the clubs in Greenwich Village around New York. They enjoyed all the folk music, and they liked the folk music that came out of there, but they just thought that these folk musicians were just taking themselves entirely too seriously. So Regina and others of her ilk started bringing a little bit of whimsy and silliness into folk music, and they became known as an anti-folk movement. And she became the most successful one out of the group. This album, Begin to Hope, broke her out of the being a New York regional act and turned her into an international act. And she's become quite she's become a musician's musician. That thing where Sparks was your favorite band's favorite band, as they say. Well, Regina Spektor is your favorite female singer's favorite female singer. She's the one that all these people go to listen to and take their cues from. Anyway, Begin to Hope. This album, I got onto this album back right not too long after it first came out in 2006, and it was kind of through the back door. I was listening to sports radio talk at the time, and then somebody came on, a guy named George Rodriguez came on his morning show, his talk show, and he was talking about how horrible the radio programming is in South Florida. And he says, "Where can you go to listen to something like this?" And he played the song Fidelity, which I'd never heard anything like it. I said, "What the heck is that?" And he said, "You cannot hear that anywhere on the radio here." So he said, "I'm running a talk show, but I like this song, so I'm going to play it. I'm going to throw it out there for you." And that's where I first heard of Regina Spektor. I loved that song, and I went out and bought that album, and this album became one of my favorites for quite a while before I moved on. Anyway, I tossed this out to Marissa because I wanted to see if what her reaction would be to this record and to Regina Spektor. And we originally planned to do this episode a while back, and then real life happened and we didn't get around to doing it. So now we're just catching up on something that we had planned a few weeks ago. Okay, I'll have more to say about this record and about Regina Spektor, but Marissa, what did you think of Begin to Hope?
I love this album. I was bopping along at the beginning and the intro there and watching her live. I found it fun, and my brain is very kind of sporadic at times where I have lots of different thoughts. So having a lot of different things going on in the midst of the song really just hit me home, and I was jiving with it. I had not noticed that she had been featured on a Chronicles of Narnia album in 2008, and it was a song called The Call, and I had that on my iPod and I really enjoyed it, but I've researched or listened to any more of her albums. So when you had given it to me, it was super special because it was almost like, oh, I know this friend, but now I get to really experience it at a new way. And Summer in the City was one of the songs here in the album. And I've just recently, well, this is going to be my second year here in Kansas City. So that was kind of special for me, thinking just like bopping around, and I would take a lot of walks and bike rides. So it was a great, great album to listen to just in everyday life when I was just enjoying it. I loved it.
This she has turned up on a lot of like TV shows. A lot of TV shows have been using her material. A lot of like compilation albums. Just she turns up everywhere. It's like she's, like I say, she's become one of these people over the last 15 years who everybody everybody in media and everybody in entertainment, they just always turn to her and find something in her music. She's really quirky. She brings a lot of quirk to what usually is traditional folk music. Both
it makes you laugh when you listen.
Yeah,
I actually like chuckle like when I'm listening. I'm like, oh man, that was good. I really enjoyed it. Sorry to interrupt you.
She does. Yeah, she does a lot of quirky things with her voice. It's very natural. I mean, it isn't. She just has this very versatile voice that she can do just very strange things with it, like and just turns on a dime with her voice. She uses her breathing as a percussion instrument, and this Begin to Hope is the first album that she actually used a band. Her first two indie albums, and then her first major label, which was called Soviet Kitsch. It was just basically her sitting at a piano, and for her accompaniment, besides a piano, she would take a drumstick and beat a drumstick on her piano stool, and that would be her percussion. And she does like that. Now she's expanded her music, where now she travels with a string orchestra. She plays a piano. She travels with a string orchestra, and every now and then she'll bring a drummer or a keyboard player along, but mostly it's just her and a drummer and a string orchestra. Just adding a different concept to what is really a traditional form of music, and just adding different things to it. She is a native of Russia. She was Russia. She got brought to New York with her parents when she was like 8 years old or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but she became real big around the village in New York. In fact, the city of New York back in the mid 2010s declared a Regina Spektor Day in the village. So it's actually it's a day where she comes and performs, and people turn up, and they do big festivals based around her.
Oh, sorry.
Do you have any thoughts?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna chime in, because when you had mentioned her using her herself as the percussion, right? When she's moving, adds into her singing. I really valued that, because it was almost like her singing and was dancing along with it, and you can see that in the opening video where she is. I feel delicate when she's singing, and then when you can see her moving along with the song, and it almost makes it like she's dancing, and that is really enjoyable for me to listen to and watch her do. And I really like that you pointed that out, so I wanted to add to that.
So yes, when we originally were going to talk about it, I had never heard of her. I had to go to YouTube to listen to this particular album twice. And yeah, I have to say quirky is the word for her. Talented, wide range of voice, and I thought maybe she is the descendant of a 60s folk singer, Marissa. Her name is Melanie, because I thought she used her voice in the very same way with I've Got a Brand New Key type thing. sort of, she goes up the scale and goes down the scale.
Mhm.
But you can tell she's talented. I think she's got, on this record, I like Samson. I thought it was a little simple, but, the reference to, go back to bed, have a slice of Wonder Bread, so I figured she was trying to be whimsical with that lyric. Yeah. And with her expanding with this, and I understand she's got a Broadway show. So I think, yeah, she's.
Yeah. Like Springsteen. Yeah. She did a run on Broadway.
So she's, visually, she's an attractive woman, and I think she's more not moving toward, but she's almost geared for cabaret. Like the way she's doing her act with sort of the presentation of it. And I did like the song. It wasn't the best song on the album, I thought, but I liked the song Edit for the simple trivia reason there's a reference to 2 Beatles songs. Or should I say one McCartney song, Dr. Robert, and you don't even have Uncle Albert. So I like that. She's very talented. It's not in my wheelhouse, but I was glad I was introduced to her. I think she's somebody worth watching, and I should listen to her earlier work where she was just primarily, I guess, a folk singer.
Her first 2 albums were released independently. In 2001, it was titled 11:11, 11:11, like the time 11:11. Her second one was called Songs, but as far as I know, I don't think either one of those are available anymore, streaming or even on YouTube or anything. However, she has released something called Mary Ann Meets the Gravediggers and Other Stories, which is essentially a compilation of a few songs from her first 2 albums. Soviet Kiss is available. I've actually listened to that quite a bit over the years. And like I say, that's a bit different. That's just her at a piano with a drumstick beating on her piano beds. It's very, very unplugged, as they say. And yeah, this is the first time she's done an album. She's released 3 albums since Begin to Hope. I've listened to all 3 of them, but Begin to Hope was definitely the highlight of her discography from what I've heard so far. Probably just because it was like it was a first of its kind. It's the first time I'd ever heard anything like this, and her next 3 albums are pretty much following up more of this kind of stuff. But this one, Fidelity, which was the opening track, was a fairly successful single off of this album. And that was the song that I actually heard from her. Fidelity, let's see. Yeah, that was released in 2006. Well, it didn't crack the top 40. It hit number 46 on the U.S. Billboard Pop 100. Bob, any thoughts?
Well, as usually befits me, I'm going to be the Philistine here. I got through the first 2 songs on this and quit. Her voice is like fingernails on a chalkboard to me, and I tried a couple times and I just couldn't get past it. So I'm out on this one. Just didn't do anything for me.
How are you ever going to learn to like something new if you just listen to it for 5 minutes and then turn it away?
I went all in on Dermot Kennedy, and that was new. I actually finally appreciated the Velvet Underground. Okay, and I've actually listened and liked. Who's the other weird guy you're all in on?
You like the Tom Waits album that we talked about?
Tom Waits. There you go.
Yeah,
So okay, so I've been dragged kicking and screaming out of my comfort zone. This one just is not it.
This might be one like Dermot Kennedy. She might be one where you need to see a full performance of hers. There's a couple on YouTube. But
No,
I think, and I find in this that a lot of new music that I'm hearing now, I am appreciating it more when I see a live performance of it more than I am listening to the recorded versions of it. And I don't know why that is. I've thought about it. I don't know if it's because I just don't have the focus that I used to have in my old age, or I actually need to see something visual now where I didn't used to before. Well, maybe that could be it, because there's nothing visual, because now with streaming you don't have like a cover to look at, and read while you're listening to the album. That could be part of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm onto something. But I've seen a couple of her full length shows, and she's really good. She's really good on stage.
That may be the case. Like Dermot Kennedy, I really loved the guy's songs. I was so on the way he presented them, but on stage he was a different person. So maybe she'd be the same way if I got to watch her live.
Yeah, she's not so different live than she is on a record, but it's just sometimes when you see her doing some of these little quirky, funny things, it adds a little dimension to it. Let me pause here. Let me share another video.
That time when I found the human tooth down on the land sea. Hey, remember that time when we decided to kiss anywhere except the mouth? Hey, remember that time when my favorite colors was pink and green? Hey, remember that month when I only ate boxes of tangerines? So cheap and juicy tangerines.
I love that one. That song, That Time, is on the middle of that album. I love that one. Yes, sir.
All I was thinking was, where is Pete Townsend when you need him to smash a guitar?
One more of her sitting at the piano.
Весною черною горит февраль, достать чернил и плакать, писать о феврале навзрыд, пока грохочущая слякоть весною черною
You can get her classical on too. That was actually a song out That was a song that Peter Gabriel covered later. She gets her music gets around. Her songwriting style. I love this quote from her. She says that she always tries to write serious music to follow in a folk tradition. She says, but it doesn't feel natural for me to write some diary type of song. I want to write a classic like Yesterday, but weird songs about meatballs and refrigerators always come into my head. I love that quote.
Yeah, I mean, who needs Yesterday when you can sing about meatballs?
Well, that live clip you played, it seemed like half the song it was sung in Russian.
Right.
And which, yeah, she was born there, so
Right. Yeah. Yeah, she does a little classical, but she gets her classical on every now and then. I think she has a fabulous voice. I love her voice, to be honest with you. And she uses it. She knows how to use it. She uses it in a percussive way. She uses it to add some whimsy and some humor. I love her voice. Anything else? Does anybody have anything else about Regina or begin to hope? Any other thoughts?
Not I.
Okay.
Interesting, quirky, and she's a descendant of Melanie, I think. So.
I enjoyed it very much.
We actually did one of Melanie's, I think Melanie's debut album back. I think it was Marissa's first time with us.
Yeah, I thought that's why you're referencing it, like as
Yeah.
a, you know, but
Yeah.
you didn't know. That's funny.
I think that was her, what, second or third album?
Was it? Yeah. Okay.
The one she did right after Woodstock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Regina Spektor, begin to hope. If you haven't, if you're looking for something a little bit different, a little whimsical, check her out. If you haven't run across her, I don't know how it's possible if you watch any TV or watch any movies or listen to any radio that you have not encountered her. But I guess there's a chance that you haven't. She's still working. She's still playing around the clubs. And she does. She's done several international tours in the last few years. She keeps very busy, very busy. Okay, well that's all about that's all we have about Regina. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and join us on Sunday for another episode of Geezerology Gazette, and we'll be back next Wednesday with somebody from Atlanta. Who is it, Bob?
Oh, Blackberry Smoke.
Blackberry Smoke. We'll be back next Wednesday with Blackberry Smoke's brand new album they just released. We're going to review that. Thanks, Marissa. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Dee. We'll see you soon.
All right. Peace out.